which blew my mind. And this stops becoming about cars now. Welcome back to another video. Today is a bit of a mind-blowing video for me. If you've been a long-time subscriber of the channel, I haven't uploaded in a long time, and the reason for that was just due to lockdown and COVID. I couldn't really get out there and drive many cars and give reviews of them, so I thought, why not just pause it and wait until I can create good content again. And I think the last video I did was on my SLK 55 AMG, and I've now since sold that car. So I decided that it was a good time just to move on, try something different, and I sold it a couple of weeks ago. The shortlist for replacing that car is, I'll put it on the screen now, lots of different cars, different price ranges. I'm just looking for the right car right now, and I'm going to do future videos on each of these cars and the pros and cons of buying them, owning them, and also any things that you should look out for when you are buying them. So if you're not subscribed already and you are interested in something like that, then do hit the subscribe button. But this video in particular was something that hit me hard. I went onto Auto Trader to replace the SLK 55 and there was nothing out there. Absolutely nothing. And anything that was any good was incredibly overpriced. And I thought, well, that's not going to sell. Let's wait till that comes down in price a little bit. And it was snapped up. And I couldn't understand it. Every single time nice car hits the market, overpriced, sold instantly. And I couldn't work out what was happening. And I looked at the prices of cars, and cars that I was looking at, let's just take an example. I looked at an F-Type a year ago and it was £32,000. And for the exact same mileage and the exact same specification today, you'd be looking at about £37,000 to £38,000. And I couldn't believe what is going on in this market. So I did some research and I wanted to figure out exactly what is going on and why prices are so high and why now is a terrible time for you to buy a car. Now, I just want to start with the most obvious one, which is lack of supply in the market. So everyone knows that if you've got a basic supply and demand graph, the less supply, the higher the price. Of course, more demand as well, higher the price. But right now, we assume that people aren't buying new cars, going into dealerships, ordering a new car because all it will do is sit on the drive while we're in lockdown in the UK. So the fact that there are no new cars being bought, that means there are less Part X's or private sales on the market. Therefore, the market is being starved of supply, which is pushing prices up. Now, there's the obvious one out the way. I knew that. Everyone knew that. You knew that before even clicking this video, that there isn't much out there in the market in terms of supply. But why are the prices so high? Because they are much higher than what I'd expect from lack of supply. Because why would you necessarily want to change your car in the used market, but nobody wants to go and buy new? Why would that change? Why would possibly Brexit or COVID and can't get the new cars in the country? Possibly, but I don't buy that. So I wanted to do some more research, which brings me on to point number 2, which blew my mind. And this stops becoming about cars now. It becomes about the economy and what we're heading towards. Because I thought, well, what would cause all of these prices to go up so heavily? So I started doing some research and asking around, and I looked at the amount of money in circulation in the UK because I wanted to know what the inflation rates were like. Maybe it's inflation, and my mind was blown. So I'll put a graph on the screen right now of how much money is in the UK in circulation now. And that graph actually only goes to June 2020, which was only a few months after COVID. So we knew that the government and the furlough scheme, they were printing money essentially to stop an economic disaster. But I didn't know it was to that extent. So the value of your money in the bank right now is rocketing down. And the reason that that F-type is 30% more expensive is because the value of my cash has gone down by 30%. The car has not gone up in value. My cash is now worth less. And I thought, well, maybe they calmed it down a bit. Maybe they just bumped it up and that's it. And it kept us going and it kept the economy going, and they'll just sort it out later through like quantitative easing or something like that. I'm not an economist. And I went to the USA, who do have an up-to-date graph. And that blew my mind as well, because theirs is up to date from the 21st of February, and they have doubled the UK again in terms of proportions. So if the UK has done exactly the same, which I think they have, judging by the car market, therefore everyone's money is shooting down in value. And it brings me on to point number 3, which is finance is cheap right now. So as well as printing money into the economy, the Bank of England brought down interest rates in order to get people going, get them spending and able to loan money. So if you wanted to take out a hire purchase or a personal loan, it is so cheap. So people have it to spend, and usually when people go and loan money, what is it for? It's to buy a house or a car, usually. So therefore, if there's more demand that way, because people can access finance more cheaply, therefore more people are going to be buying used cars. And finally, point number 4 is people have more disposable income. They've got cars sitting on the drive and they're not commuting. They're not using fuel. They are not really eating out anymore. They aren't going on trips. They aren't going abroad on holiday or vacation. They have money sat in the bank and they're thinking, I've got a lot more money than I remember ever having. So now is a great time to upgrade my car because there's not really anything else for me to spend this on. Therefore, those people are going out onto the used car market and snapping up cars as well. But what does that mean for what's about to happen? Because the reason it's a bad time now to buy a car is those 4 points plus what is about to happen, which is people are, after the vaccinations are over, the country's fully vaccinated, lockdown is over, everyone is incredibly positive, the economy's going to boom again with all of that cash in it. And people have that extra money. They're going to go out and buy brand new cars, which is going to flood the used car market. And yes, to an extent, that extra money is going to go into the used car market as well, and people are going to snap it up. However, that will cool off. And then you're going to have an excess supply in the used car market. And when you have that, prices are going to crash. And when prices crash, the government are going to keep those interest rates low at that time. And therefore, you could probably get twice as good a car in 6 months' time than you could right now. So who should buy a car right now? If you're watching this video and you're thinking, well, is there anyone who should buy a car right now? I would say it's someone with a lot of cash in the bank right now who is financially stable and their cash is devaluing and they want to invest it, but they've got plenty of investments and they fancy a new car. Therefore, the car is more likely to track inflation than your cash sat in the bank, especially if it's just earning no interest. Of course, you need to be financially stable, and therefore, if there was a mini recession in a few months' time, you are able to make those monthly payments if you took out the cheap finance, or if you bought it cash, you have other cash in the bank to sustain you through a difficult period. Therefore, that makes perfect sense to just go and overpay right now for a car and not wait, because essentially what you buy the car for now will pretty much be the same in the future given what you make on the protection against the inflation. So that is the only reason right now I'd go out and buy a car right now. I might contradict myself. I might see the perfect specification car and just think, sod it, I'll go and pay the 20%, 30% premium on the car just to have one, and then I can make lots of cool YouTube videos about it. Maybe I will. But right now, if you are logical, it is not a good time to buy a used car. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. If you want to see more videos like this, I'm going to be reviewing more cars on the list as well. So subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video.